I do remember, I do recall, Avery was out early on and a couple times throughout the season randomly, but KCP stepped up and did an amazing job for us. Obviously, it's going to take a little while for everybody to get back into a rhythm and him get back to his normal self, all of us. But I have full confidence in him that we'll fill those shoes, to fill that void. The difference is defensively, it'll change our dynamic a little bit because nobody can pick up 94 feet like Avery. But it's going to take a group. It's going to take all of us to try to pick up that slack defensively on the perimeter. But I think we're capable. I think we can do it.
David Aldridge.
Andy, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up with it?
Oh man, look, y'all are in a championship level position. Wondering how you go forward with that in the games, but also try to keep your voice elevated with regard to the social justice initiatives that so many guys were talking about during the hiatus.
Just not losing sight of the bigger picture, and obviously reiterating and talking with each other. Obviously, we're here to compete, and it's tough to do that when we're surrounded by each other and we're all friends. We know each other, and kind of keep that edge with each other. But there's a bigger picture, and we all want to kind of stay on course with that. And some of the players have called different meetings for each teams or a couple of teams to talk and discuss the best plan of action to moving forward. So hopefully we can keep that going strong, even though we're competing against each other. But that communication is key, and us coming together, not just as our own individual teams, but as a group together as a league, and discussing some of the best course of action.
Okay, Kyle Goon, and you can just answer to the camera, Danny.
Yep.
Hey, Danny.
What's up, my doc?
We saw the court today at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys are pretty close to scrimmaging there.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what your initial impressions are, and also what you make of. Are you surprised by the fact that the bench is going to be distant, even though you guys are in pretty close proximity on the court?
I haven't seen the setup, so I think they're giving us the opportunity to see it tonight. I hear it's pretty unique, but I think regardless of what the scenario is, the situation, the court setup, I think most of us have played in many different arenas and can adapt and adjust to it, hopefully sooner than later. Probably take a couple games for us to get used to it, but I said I haven't seen the setup, so I can't really say.
Okay, well, if I could ask a quick follow-up then,
Mm-hmm.
What is sort of the biggest thing you kind of hope for that court environment might capture?
I think it's a kind of gift and a curse. Obviously, the fans want to hear what we have to say. I think a lot of the things that we do say are probably not appropriate, but that content is clutch, it's key, it's crucial, and it's gold to the outside, watching. But for us, it could be detrimental to some people's branding. So I don't know.
Tanya?
Do you think you'll go? They showed us some seating areas
Mm-hmm.
where players can sit and watch other games. You think you'll do that?
Possibly. So just to see the setup, check it out, depending on. But I think a lot of people, a lot of teams, a lot of guys, when we get down to crunch time, are focused and locked in. They, they play their games, they go home and rest and relax and take care of their bodies. Obviously, we can watch the games on TV or online if we need to. But some guys like the in-game, up-close court experience. But I think most of us will take advantage of resting and taking care of our bodies at home.
Okay,
Yeah, it's Dave McBennett with ESPN.
Got you.
How despite everything that's happened since training camp, the ups and the downs, and all the time that's passed, can you just describe the level of confidence you have on this restart just by the sheer fact that you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on your team?
Definitely helps. But just because you have certain players doesn't mean it gives you wins or win games. We got to put it together. We got to earn the wins. And everybody's kind of starting over. So as much as everybody thinks we're at a championship level, nobody's at a championship level right now. And it's going to take everybody some time to get into it or get into rhythm and rotation and chemistry. So just because it's a good start. It's a good foundation to have those guys, of course. But we have to have them playing well and on the same page and healthy, and everybody else around them playing well and healthy.
Okay, Rachel?
You're talking about content, like the obsession that sports fans seem to have with what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you're playing Protoss or fishing, has everyone in the NBA caught the same fish, like all of that. What do you think of sort of the appetite for sort of the NBA bubble activities?
What do I think is the most attractive ones.
Like, what do you think the outside world is so fascinated with?
I think they're just interested in seeing and getting back to normal life, and that's following their favorite people, their favorite athletes, their favorite celebrities, whoever it may be, and seeing their day-to-day, routines or content. They weren't getting that as much when sports shut down. Not everybody has social media, use their social media to the fullest of showing what their daily routines are, and a lot of people like to feel normal and know that even their favorite people do the same things they do. So it's interesting to see, well, not interesting, but people eating it up, that we're playing golf and fishing, because that's what they do too.
Okay, Mark Spears?
What's up, my man?
Being the Lakers, being the team with the biggest name, biggest platform, most popularity, how do you guys maximize your brand, your name on a social justice level during these next 3 months? And AD said you guys have kind of talked about it, trying to figure something out.
We like I said earlier, just kind of keeping that communication of taking time out, whether it's per week or bi-weekly, just talking to each other, figuring out is it the best course of action. We do have talked about having some meetings set up, not just with our own team, but with other teams as well. Become united front as a league. But it's very important, and I said just everybody, not just us, but everybody using their platforms to their advantage, and not losing sight of it. Using this time, this opportunity to focus on the bigger picture. Obviously, we love sports, we love competing, we love basketball, but the bigger picture for us is helping our friends and family and people in our communities. So we're not going to lose sight of that.
Chris Mannix?
Danny, with the NBA deciding that the awards will be based on what's already happened in the season, it's kind of kickstarted the LeBron versus Giannis MVP debate. What would you say the strongest argument is for LeBron to be MVP this year?
There's a lot of them, man. So year 17, he's probably owed a couple where he got missed out on. But he arguably the best player in the world for the last 15, 17 years that he's been in the league. So this year, obviously, we're top team in the West because of him and AD. Obviously, a lot of people kind of counted him out and thought he was not washed up, but didn't think he was at a level where he was before. And it seems like he hasn't lost many steps at all, not even half a step. So obviously, he's not the same crazy athletic LeBron, but he's still doing a lot of things that he was doing in year 5 and 6, which is amazing. But the level of concentration, the level of bringing an organization from where a year before they were not in the playoffs to being a championship contender within a year. And obviously AD came with that and helps, but for him to make that happen, put together that type of team, that type of roster, and have the input, shows you how much of an impact he has on an organization.
Okay, Taylor?
Hey, Jim.
When we spoke before, this league suspension, we were discussing how you adapt when you're not shooting well. How were you able to work on that, I guess, maybe during, this quarantine period, and how is that shot now?
It's going pretty well. I said just everybody's getting their legs up under them. We're still getting up and down, getting some scrimmages in. But the biggest key is not losing confidence, having your support system behind you, your coaches, your teammates, and then having that faith in you until you shoot the next one as if you made the last 5. Even though you might be 0 for 5 over 6, but they have the confidence in you that you're going to make the next 3 or 4. But so don't lose confidence. But at the same time, it's going to be different with no crowd. I guess it's probably going to less pressure. It's going to be interesting to see how guys operate, if the numbers go up or down, depending on whether they have fans in the building or not. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be like pickup games at LA Fitness, which I think people are interested to see, because there's going to be a lot of trash talking, there's going to be a lot of cussing out, and hopefully less technicals, even though the rest are going to hear a lot more. But so it's going to be interesting to see how the numbers go, considering the fact that there's no home court advantage, no fans, or nobody really watching on top of you, and the lights aren't as bright as they normally would be on a stage that we normally play in the playoffs.
Thank you.
For sure.
Okay, we're going to do last 2. So we have Joe Varden here, and then we'll have Bill Oram on the Zoom.
So you just talked about lights. In that arena, at least today, the lighting was unique.
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet. Throughout the league, are there different gyms that are lit differently and might affect the shooter? And what are some of them?
For sure. A lot of things can affect, for most guys like myself, shooting is a rhythm thing, and you have to be able, so the flow of the game can affect your shooting. If you haven't touched the ball in 6 possessions or 6 minutes, you might go up and down the floor, and just because of the flow of the game is you might not get a feel for the basketball. So by the time you touch it, if you get a shot, not until the second half, the ball might feel like a medicine ball at that point. But I said, altitude when you're in Denver or depending on how high it is, how the air is can change the texture of the feel of the ball. Lighting, how the rims, sometimes some rims might be bent or tilted a little bit or just different backdrops. All those things can affect the perception for shooters and people that play in the game. But that's why you have shoot-arounds, that's why you have practice, why you have time to warm up to get a feel for and used to it. But sometimes it takes longer than that. That's why home court advantage if that's your home. But if it's a road game, you only play there once or twice a year. So you have probably least advantage in the home team. But many things can affect the feel or the texture or the rhythm or the chemistry of a shooter.
Bill Owen, last question.
Hey, Danny, it's Bill.
So
I'm wondering, you guys have been in the hotel for a couple of weeks now, and you guys are in the same space as all the other top contenders, and I'm just wondering if that has been a recipe for any amusing encounters. I mean, whether it's you and the Raptors, Kawhi Raptors, you've got LeBron and Giannis in the same hotel, Lakers Clippers. What's that dynamic like in the hotel?
Well, even though everybody here is negative, everybody's still treating each other like we're positive. So most of us are keeping our masks on, barely recognize people, and staying spaced away. But there have been some encounters where I run into some people. I did connect with OG the other day for his birthday, which was special. I was trying to find something to get him or do something for him for his birthday. It's hard to do that in here. But ran into Kawhi once or twice to say what's up. Everybody in here is being very safe and wearing their mask and staying social distance. They talked briefly, chatted up briefly, but nobody's really hanging out. And we're not supposed to be hanging out as much as a team either. We eat together, but for the most part, if you're kicking, you're not supposed to be in each other's rooms, staying 6 feet apart and social distancing. So there's not many weird or awkward encounters, but obviously we see a lot of those guys throughout the time. I see a lot of my Raptors people. I say hello, what's up, and catch up. But it's more brief interactions than it is actually be able to sit down and talk or show your original love if you would if the pandemic wasn't going on.